Thank you very much. And, especially the hospitality that we received. I was so happy that I was able to do borscht in Moscow yesterday. It's something in regards with preparing for today's talk. I realized I'm at a disadvantage in different ways. As Cooper said, I'm the youngest person here, so I can't give you a history story, but also maybe because I'm the youngest here and Sisa is the youngest, because we only were able to get liberated 30 years ago, and it's been quite 30 years. And I think there's what I thought I could talk about today is around the idea of cultural diversity and cultural differences. Because within there, we talk about two things that I think is important for us to conceptualize if we want to make psychology impacts on our brothers and sisters on the different continents that are members of us. And the two things is firstly access to care. And a lot of areas in South Africa do not have access to care. There are not enough psychologists, and the psychologists that are trained do not understand the people that they're serving. And the second reason, and I think it's been mentioned quite a lot today, is the fact that the psychology that we use does not belong to us. We copy and paste it from exactly what Sas was talking about by individuals who were not prepared to listen and to understand us. And in those worlds, psychology became the bridesmaid of colonialism. And we are still dealing with the effects thereof. Because when you try and fit a phenomenon in order to meet your methodology, that's bad science. It's important for an ethical scientist to fit our methodologies towards our phenomenon. And in psychology, the most interesting part of us, why it's such a tricky science for us to deal with, is because our phenomenon is influenced by the ideas and the thoughts and, unfortunately, the biases that we hold. So when we talk about cultural diversity, we talk about something that, for me, ignites science as a field, is the idea that great minds don't think alike. That's kind of the idea. But unfortunately, what then takes place is that we lose our curiosity and our ability to be innovative when people have told us how we are and who we are, which is basically what colonialism and apartheid did to South Africa. And in regards to what happens when you see a people and people that are living on resources that you want, is that if you can turn them into the means in order to enrich yourselves without any of the repercussions thereof, the best way to do that is to allow those individuals to think of themselves as not human anymore. And that really is the role of psychology, is to protect and safeguard humanity. That's what humanitarianism is about, what humanity is about. And South Africa became two things within psychology, but the second one, the one which they tried to take away from us through censorship, through what Sas says about cancel culture, is the story of how humanity and our understanding and our resilience, especially as people, often comes out through tribulation. I was reminded of it now when I was eating lunch, and Sergio told me the story of the I'm going to say the name wrong, Paradinsky bread, and immediately told me about the fact that we came from the Napoleonic Wars. And I was thinking about how meaning and symbolism and legacy of our people, of all my brothers that are sitting here with me, comes from struggle, comes from war, comes from difficult times. In one of the places that I worked in Kimberley, we say that a diamond needs pressure for it to be formed. And resilience needs struggle. And that is where we're at. And so when we talk about cultural diversity and cultural differences, one of my favorite philosophers from South Africa, Steve Biko, said a culture is essentially society's composite answer to the very problems of life. We are experiencing new problems every day, and whatever we do adds to the richness of our cultural heritage, as long as it keeps the human being at the center. And in South Africa, one of the work that I'm busy with is the fact of people that have literally been made to believe inferior, made to believe that they cannot have a future. And I know I've got colleagues here who understand exactly what I'm talking about. And then it becomes culturalized, and then it becomes part of your culture, and then you identify with that. Then it's like a chain of the mind that keeps the mind stuck. And when a mind is stuck, we lose creativity and we lose innovation. And I think, I know that there was a discussion about hard science versus soft science, but one of the beautiful things about psychology is it doesn't need psychologists to be happening. And as I was walking through, there's so much psychology at play, creativity, the idea of a dream, and then realizing it with robotics, realizing it with frameworks and structures and with blueprints, and then the idea of determination, all things that are such important elements of psychology in order to make this work. Psychology and science becomes the ability to be able to imagine something unimaginable and make it happen. And I think on the end that's in there is, I'm a bit worried that when we get stuck on cultural differences instead of cultural diversity, then we can't do the last thing that we're asked to do, which is reimagine and do psychology. What do all of us have in common that are sitting here in front of you, and I'm sure these are things that you hold too, is our core values. We are community-driven people. We are community-driven nations. We understand that our heritage is not on the individual, that each one of us sits here representative of the people that worked us to get us to the places that we are. It's the importance of a deep legacy and a deep heritage. And if we want to reimagine, we must have roots in order to dream. And I think that comes into cultural diversity, is the understanding of, here you have 5 individuals sitting, just make sure my maths is correct, but you have 5 worldviews, 5 different ways of looking at the world, 5 different philosophies, 5 different heritages, history, legacy. And that's where we need to come into. That's where the true power of BRICS comes in. Thank you very much. Thank you.